Brian Gene Nichols is infamous for his escape from custody and subsequent killing spree on March 11, 2005, which took place at the Fulton County Courthouse in Atlanta, Georgia. Nichols is also a noted rapist and killer who even killed inside the courtroom. Nichols was facing a charge of rape when he escaped detention and went on a killing spree, eventually taking the lives of the judge presiding over his case, a court reporter, and a deputy with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, and an ICE agent. So, are you ready to know what's the whole story here? Well, in this video, we'll share with you the untold story of him who killed inside the courtroom. Nichols was apprehended 26 hours after a massive search at the metropolitan Atlanta region was initiated to find him. The prosecution accused him of committing 54 crimes during the escape. On November 7, 2008, a jury found him guilty on all charges.
I don't want to cause any more damage what I have already done, and that's the main reason why I've always remained quiet.
And he was later sentenced to life in prison as a result of the verdict. Cardinal Gibbons School was Nichols' alma mater when he was growing up in Baltimore, Maryland, where he was born and raised in a family that belonged to the middle class. After that, he went on to study at Kutztown University of Pennsylvania in Kutztown, Pennsylvania, during the years of 1989 and 1990. While there, he was a member of the football team and had a reputation for getting into trouble. In 1995, Nichols relocated to Georgia, where he obtained employment at both Hewlett-Packard and UPS after dropping out of college. Nichols was arrested on many counts for the rape, abduction, and assault of a former girlfriend when he found out that she was seeing a minister from the church that they both attended. The two of them have previously been in a relationship. The first court proceeding was declared a mistrial because the jury could not reach a unanimous decision. Since Nichols had previously attempted to devise an escape strategy with a companion, his loved ones and friends were understandably concerned that he may take a break from it while he was waiting for the second trial to begin. While Nichols was changing clothes in the Fulton County Courthouse on March 11, 2005, Sheriff's Deputy Cynthia Hall was successfully overpowered by Nichols. He took her Glock service weapon and beat her until she was unconscious before leaving her in a coma. In a prior effort, Nichols tried to bring shanks into the courtroom by concealing them in his shoes. Nichols went into the courtroom and immediately went into the chambers of Judge Roland Barnes, where he changed into civilian clothing that was initially planned to be used during the trial. Nichols ran with case managers Susan Christie and Gina Clark Thomas, as well as attorney David Allman, as he was on his way to Barnes' office. He held them all at gunpoint and demanded that they lead him to Barnes' location so that he could enter Barnes' office. As soon as Sergeant Grantley White entered the courtroom, he made an unsuccessful effort to disarm Nichols and was then obliged to handcuff the other defendants. Nichols used White's radio to silence the alert that was first triggered by White. After entering the courtroom, Nichols proceeded to shoot and kill Barnes, as well as the court reporter, Julie Ann Brando. In the process of evading capture within the courtroom, he fatally shot Sergeant Hoyt Teasley. During his time on the run, Nichols took multiple cars without permission and was featured on the television shows America's Most Wanted.
That began in this courtroom, what was then Judge Roland Barnes' courtroom, gripped the nation. And this interview with Brian Nichols offers us the opportunity to look into the mindset of one of the most notorious active shooters in America, the most notorious in Georgia's history.
It was stated that anybody who provided information that led to the arrest of Nichols would be eligible for a prize of $65,000. Nichols made an effort to abduct a young lady as she made her way home from the gym where she had been working out. After her boyfriend stepped in to protect her, and after he heard her calling 911, he ran away. Nichols shot and killed ICE Special Agent David G. Wilhelm later that day, then took his badge, revolver, and pickup vehicle before fleeing the scene. Ashley Smith, a young lady, called 911 and reported that Nichols was at her apartment in Duluth, Georgia. Smith told the dispatcher that Nichols was there. Nichols complied with the authorities once they arrived on the scene. The authorities were able to retrieve many stolen guns as well as the wallet belonging to Special Agent Wilhelm. Approximately 2 miles away from the apartment was where the stolen vehicle was found. Smith reported to the police that Nichols had broken into her apartment on March 12, kept her hostage at gunpoint for 7 hours, and then fled the residence. She dosed Nichols with methamphetamine and then proceeded to read him passages from The Purpose-Driven Life. She attempted to persuade Nichols to give himself in by telling him about the loss of her husband and by showing him a scar on her face that she had received in a vehicle accident while she was under the influence of narcotics. Nichols permitted Smith to go visit her daughter after making pancakes for him to eat breakfast. At the time, she was on the phone with the police. Because of her contribution to Nichols' apprehension, Smith was awarded a monetary prize. Nichols was transported to a field office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Decatur, Georgia, and then to an Atlanta police station, where he later confessed to his crimes and provided full accounts of them on camera. Nichols was indicted on 54 counts by a grand jury in Fulton County on May 5, 2005. These charges included murder, felony murder, abduction, armed robbery, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, theft, carjacking, and flight from law enforcement. Nichols originally entered a non-guilty plea, and his attorney said that they planned to defend him on the grounds of his mental condition in their opening statement. Paul Howard, the district attorney for Fulton County, Georgia, announced that he intends to pursue the death sentence. Nichols' case resulted in the state of Georgia spending more than $3 million on his prosecution and defense combined, making him the most costly defendant in the state's history. The trial was going to be presided over by Judge Hilton Fuller of the Superior Court, and it was scheduled to take place in July in the very same courtroom in which the murders had been carried out. As a result of the ruling issued by Superior Court Judge James Bodiford that basic fairness required the trial to take place in a different venue, the trial had to be postponed so that fresh accommodations could be found. Nichols was transferred to the DeKalb County Jail in October 2006 when it was discovered that he was preparing another escape while he was waiting for his trial. Nichols entered the plea of not guilty because of insanity on the first day of the trial, which took place on September 22, 2008, in the Atlanta Municipal Court. During the trial, the prosecution played audio recordings of the killings to disprove Nichols' claims that he has suffered from mental instability. During his prosecution for rape, Nichols did not exhibit any evidence of mental illness, according to the testimony of witnesses. Nichols stated to the police that he acknowledged the shootings, but he claimed that the reason he shot Wilhelm was that the special agent was pointing a pistol at him. The forensic evidence did not corroborate this theory. Instead, it was demonstrated that Wilhelm had been shot while kneeling and that he had additional injuries which indicated that he was not carrying a pistol at the time of the shooting. After Nichols broke up with his girlfriend, his defense argued that he was insane and should not be held responsible for his actions. They stated that he had previously shown signs of depression and suicidal ideations after the breakup, and that this was evidence that he should not be held accountable for his actions. Nichols was represented by an attorney during his rape trial, and the attorney stated that Nichols felt his ex-girlfriend still loved him despite the injuries she had as a result of the rape, and that she would not testify against him as a result. Experts in psychology testified that Nichols had an abusive upbringing, and that his father's drug misuse led to Nichols misusing drugs as well. They also testified that Nichols' father was a drug addict. The defense presented writings authored by Nichols during his time at college, in which he expressed his conviction that white people were plotting to exterminate black people as a race. Nichols was found guilty on all 54 charges after the jury debated for a total of 12 hours over 2 days before reaching their verdict on November 7, 2008. Nichols was given numerous life sentences on December 13, 2008, and he was not eligible for release under any circumstances. The judge, Bodiford, imposed the maximum possible sentence for each of the counts and ordered that the terms run concurrently. Nichols was spared several death sentences because the jury was unable to come to a unanimous vote to recommend the capital penalty, which is necessary by law in Georgia to make such a recommendation. Bodiford said that if there was anything further that he could provide with you, he would. The Georgia Diagnostic and Classification State Prison is where Nichols is now serving his sentence. So that concludes our video. Please share with us in the comment section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one. Until then, peace.